Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Aryna Sabalenka's rise comes at a cost, as ex-best friend says. Barely talks to anyone. Aryna Sabalenka is intense on the court when she takes on her rivals with unmatched serves, backhands, and powerful forehands. But when the world number one and three-time slam queen is not in action, she can be perceived as the most fun-loving. From dancing on trending tracks to having fun banters with fellow WTA stars, the Belarusian enjoys engaging in light-hearted moments off the court. However, it appears the fun-loving Aryna Sabalenka, who's seen having lots of interactions with people on tour, is not really that social. In the years leading to her rise to clinch the number one spot, the Belarusian made sure to work on a lot of aspects, including her overall persona. The world number one even mentioned, "When I compete, I am a tiger. I'm fighting for my dreams out there. There's no time to be nice." In fact, her former best friend and fellow WTA star, Veronika Kudermetova, also shed light on an unknown aspect that hardly anyone knows. Veronika Kudermetova, who once shared a close bond with Sabalenka, shared her thoughts in an interview with the Russian website Championat. Kudermetova stated, "Aryna achieves great results. She plays very consistently. It is difficult to reach her. It is still a slightly different level. I know how much she works, how much effort and energy she puts into it. We used to communicate very closely and often. We were friends. I even lived with her for a while. She has her difficulties. She has gone through different stages of life." Commending the Belarusian, she further added, "You won't become a superstar overnight, no. You have to go a long way to get there. And Aryna really deserves where she is." But then, Kudermetova threw light on what most people don't know about Sabalenka's off-court persona. Touching upon her current status of relationship with Sabalenka, she mentioned, "No, we communicate less now." The 28-year-old further added, "She's Aryna, the number one tennis player in the world, has a large team, doesn't get distracted, and barely talks to anyone, while staying fully focused on just her tennis goals." Speaking of her goal-oriented side, it gets proven with her consistency across the events. She may have missed out on clinching a slam this season, but her overall singles record is still fantastic so far. She's lifted 3 WTA trophies, 2, while making deep runs in almost every campaign she's played in 2025. However, nothing comes close to winning a slam, and Sabalenka knows it. Guess what? She can still make it happen at the last remaining major of the year. Aryna Sabalenka looks to end season with a major triumph. Back in January, Aryna Sabalenka was on the verge of an Australian Open three-peat, but American star Madison Keys bested the world number one in the Summit Clash at the Rod Laver Arena. Last month, another American icon, Coco Gauff, came out victorious against the Belarusian in the French Open final at Court Philippe Chatrier. And if this blow wasn't enough, Sabalenka witnessed yet another defeat at the hands of an American during the Wimbledon. In the semis, 23-year-old Amanda Anisimova dominated her in a 3-set thriller. She reached her maiden slam final with a score line of 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. Undoubtedly, Sabalenka had no words to describe what happened to her on the center court. She was upset with a third straight failure in a slam this season, but still, she commended Anisimova for her stellar efforts. "I have to say that she was more brave today. And maybe when I was just trying to stay in the point, she was playing more aggressive." Moving forward, Sabalenka will now step into the last slam of 2025, the U.S. Open. At the Flushing Meadows, she's a reigning champion at the moment. In the previous edition, she bested America's Jessica Pegula in the Summit Clash on Arthur Ashe Stadium in straight sets. Probably that one may motivate her this time, too, in order to lift a second straight trophy in New York. Do you think she will be able to forget all the setbacks this season and eventually make a glorious comeback at the U.S. Open? Aryna Sabalenka's rise comes at a cost. The price of stardom, in the words of an ex-best friend. In the world of elite sports, fame is a double-edged sword, one that cuts deeply into the personal lives of its brightest stars. For Aryna Sabalenka, the booming Belarusian powerhouse who rose from WTA contender to a Grand Slam champion, the ascent to the summit of tennis has brought glory, endorsements, and millions of adoring fans. But behind the fierce backhands and roaring celebrations lies a quieter, more complex tale of personal sacrifice, one told not in match statistics, but in the words of those she left behind. This time, the story isn't from the mouth of a rival or analyst. It comes from someone who once knew Aryna Sabalenka better than anyone else. "She barely talks to anyone anymore," confessed her ex-best friend, whose voice trembled more with sorrow than resentment. "The girl I knew disappeared somewhere along the path to greatness. A friendship born on the courts. Before the Grand Slams, before the sponsor deals and trophy parades, there was just Aryna, ambitious, fiery, and laugh-out-loud funny." Her ex-friend, who asked to remain anonymous, first met her during junior tournaments in Eastern Europe. "She was wild in the best way," the friend reminisced. "She dragged me out to dance in the rain after training. She was competitive but goofy, always laughing, even after losing a match. They shared hotel rooms on tour, trained at the same academies, and comforted each other through injuries and heartbreaks. But as Sabalenka climbed higher in the rankings, cracks began to form, not just in their friendship, but in her entire inner circle. The transformation. Sabalenka's breakout moment came in 2021. A Wimbledon semifinalist and U.S. Open contender, she became one of the most feared players on the circuit. Her muscular game, highlighted by booming serves and unrelenting aggression, thrilled fans and overwhelmed opponents. With every new headline and endorsement deal, her star burned brighter. But the ex-friend says that's when the transformation began. She became more private. She wouldn't respond to messages for weeks. "At first, I thought she was just busy. But then she stopped coming to our off-season reunions. She stopped asking how I was." At first, the friend chalked it up to the demands of professional tennis. Jet lag, press schedules, training regimens. Surely there was little time left for small talk. But soon, mutual friends noticed it too. "She built walls," one said. "Only a few are let in now, and even they don't get the full Aryna." A new circle, a new Aryna. Around this time, Sabalenka began appearing regularly in the company of a more curated, media-friendly entourage. Gone were the old childhood friends and fellow juniors. In came agents, brand consultants, and image managers. "She's still kind, I believe that," the ex-friend said. "But she's not the same. Her smile looks polished now. She laughs less freely. I think the pressure's changed her." Sources close to the WTA Tour corroborate this perception. "Aryna is professional, but distant," one insider noted. "She doesn't spend much time with other players outside the court. She's either training, doing media, or keeping to herself." Yet this isolation is not unique to Sabalenka. Many top athletes struggle with loneliness and emotional distance at the top. As they ascend, their world shrinks. Trust becomes a rare commodity. The cost of perfection. Sabalenka has always spoken openly about her mental health. In 2022, she revealed her battle with performance anxiety and self-doubt. Few forget the sight of her in tears after double faults plagued her game in early tournaments that year. "She carries a lot," the friend acknowledged. "I don't think people realize how heavy it is to be expected to win, to be perfect, to represent a country, a brand, a legacy." In interviews, Sabalenka has mentioned her inner struggles. "Sometimes I feel very alone," she once admitted after a loss. "But that's the life I chose." And perhaps that's the tragic beauty of it all. Sabalenka didn't lose her old self by accident. She sacrificed it willingly, piece by piece, in pursuit of greatness. Fame's silent toll. Celebrity is a strange ecosystem. The higher you rise, the more people surround you. But genuine connection becomes rarer. Sabalenka is a brand now as much as she is a person. And brands aren't allowed to falter. Her ex-friend recalled the last time they saw each other, briefly, at a WTA event. She smiled, hugged me, asked how I was. But it felt distant, like she was somewhere else already. Her eyes kept checking the time. It wasn't coldness, necessarily. It was detachment, a quiet exhaustion that many elite athletes wear like armor. She used to write me long texts before matches, telling me she was nervous, asking for advice. That stopped years ago. The isolation of icons. Sabalenka isn't the first star to face this. Many of tennis's greatest champions, Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, even Roger Federer, have spoken of the loneliness that comes with sustained excellence. Being number one isn't just a ranking, said a sports psychologist familiar with the tour. It's a social position. You stop being part of the tribe. You become its symbol. And symbols don't have best friends. Sabalenka may be distant now, but perhaps, like so many before her, it's not out of arrogance. It's self-preservation, a flicker of hope. Still, her ex-best friend holds no grudges. If she called me today, I'd answer in a heartbeat, she said softly. I miss her. I miss the way we used to laugh, until our ribs hurt. I miss seeing her happy. Not winning, not holding trophies, but really happy. The friend shared an old photo, two girls, no older than 16, covered in clay and grinning wildly after a practice session gone muddy. She was so full of fire. I hope she still is. A new chapter? Interestingly, recent glimpses from Sabalenka's life suggest she's beginning to reflect more deeply. Her social media has become more personal. Vacation photos with her boyfriend, behind-the-scenes laughs with her team. She even posted a throwback photo recently with the caption, "Never forget where you started." Maybe that's the first step back to those she left behind. Maybe the girl from Minsk who danced in the rain is still in there, hiding beneath the weight of expectations, but not lost forever. The real Aryna. To the public, Aryna Sabalenka is a thunderous forehand, a clenched fist, a grand slam threat. But to those who knew her before the cameras, she was something else entirely. She was a light, her ex-best friend said, voice breaking. I just hope tennis hasn't dimmed it. In the end, Aryna Sabalenka's story is not one of betrayal or abandonment. It's a portrait of the high cost of ambition, the emotional collateral of chasing dreams at the highest level. Yes, she barely talks to anyone now. But perhaps, in her quiet moments, she remembers the laughter, the clay-stained selfies, and the people who cheered for her before the world even knew her name. Because the greatest comeback she might ever make won't be on court. It will be finding her way back to herself.